Hello and good evening. Welcome to Total Video Gamers, an evening with, and this evening we are having an evening with Alex from Studio Catloaf. Good evening, Alex.
Good evening. How you doing?
Hi. Very good, thank you. Thanks for joining us. And
thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're most welcome. And I'm Triangle Face, and I'm joined again by Blunners. How are you doing, Blunners?
Yes, very good. It's just Ollie's having a trouser accident tonight.
Yet again.
I've done my usual, and I've gifted a membership to you, Mr. Agent X-Force. You have leveled up, so I hope you enjoy that.
Nice. So we will kick things off this evening, as we always do, and we like to talk about early gaming memories. So, Alex, what was it that first drew you to gaming, and what were some of the first games you sort of got into and some of your favourite consoles growing up?
So a lot of 90s games. I think probably like my first memory of gaming is actually one of my first real memories anyway, and that's playing Monkey Island 2 with my mom and my brother, and having absolutely no idea what I was supposed to do in that game and getting horrendously stuck and lost on all the puzzles. And somehow like that was, back before the days of the internet, and we didn't have like the guide or anything. We managed to get like all the way to the sewers at the end, just on like actually spending the time figuring out the puzzles. And then I think we gave up at the end because we couldn't get that LeChuck food at all at the end. But yeah, that's a great game, and I still come back to play it every now and then. Like every few years, I go and revisit it just for the nostalgia. And I still get stuck on some of those puzzles, even though I've played that game like 500 times.
It's funny to see, it's like point and click games, I think. They've made a bit of a comeback, actually. There's quite a few indie point and clicks that I've seen fairly recently. But it's different where you can look up the answers. I think part of the sort of draw of it back in the 90s was you couldn't just go online and find the answer. You had to figure it out and persevere.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
And even like, even when I've played whatever newer point and click games, I say to myself, I'm not gonna Google the answer for this. Like I'm gonna figure this out, and then like 15 hours later, it's like, okay, I give up. I never did it.
I Monkey Island. I remember playing that with my brother. I've recently just picked up both of them as well because they were on the sale in Steam Deck. Using the touchpad and the touchscreen, makes it so much easier. But
okay.
Yeah, it's just it was. I just remember, like you're saying, getting absolutely lost. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. My brother trying just basically when my brother played it, just try and copy what he done, basically. Yeah,
and kind of like
I made a bit of a. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, just when you've like going back and forth between all locations and trying every combination of every item with every item or every spot in the game, and then like when you figure it out, it's like that's like of course that was the answer. Like, except for the monkey wrench puzzle, that was ridiculous. But yeah, everything else. Yeah.
I think one of my first point and click games I played, I've since been told was probably not a good one to start on. So I played the Discworld game. Apparently that's just like notoriously hard and really obscure. Apparently that is more for like expert point and click gamers, not really good for my first entry. So perhaps put me off them initially, but
I never played that one. I remember Maniac Mansion. Like I want to go back and replay that one day and see if I can beat it, because I'm like most point and click games, like they don't really have like so much of, or at least a lot of them don't really have so much of a fail state, do they? Like you just go around and like bash your head against the wall until you figure it out. But I'm at like Maniac Mansion, you just like die around every turn basically. But yeah, those 90s point and click games were amazing. Indiana Jones and Fate of Atlantis as well.
I was saying the recent ones that came out in the Evercade, Broken Sword, and I got the updated versions of them. The problem with them is I didn't realise this at the time, but if you're playing it and like you said, you're banging your head on the wall trying to work out what the hell you got to do, it then like starts flashing up what to do, and I was just like, hang on a minute, this is like cheating here. You're like, you'll be getting a lot. You'll be trying to work out, and all of a sudden it just starts like there's like a little shimmer, and I was like, what's that? Touched it, and it was like, oh, here's the next part. Like I was just like, oh, here we go. So yeah,
Yeah,
like,
you can't force a hint on someone in that. Or I mean, you can do whatever you want, but like I wouldn't like force a hint on someone in that kind of game. You know, like part of the fun of those games is like that, like eureka light bulb moment of like, oh,
yeah.
just finally cracked this, and then
I had
like
to go and turn it off that bit. I didn't realize that was actually part of it, but yeah, it's already in the settings. You can go and turn it off.
So what sort of other games did you start off with then? What were your sort of first consoles that you had yourself?
So I was probably mostly into PC gaming. I had a Sega Genesis. I guess you guys would have called it a Sega Mega Drive in the UK.
Yeah, Mega Drive.
And yeah, I played a lot of that, a lot of Mortal Kombat on that.
Yeah.
Streets of Rage. I used to play Streets of Rage with my brother, and he would always like steal the chicken when I had no health, and then he would just come and attack me, and it's like
need some
like
cooperation.
This isn't how you like. We're supposed to be helping each other. Like why are you attacking me? And then he would probably just like, you know, slap me upside the head and do the things that big brothers do like that. But
I think that cartridge was like Streets of Rage 1, Golden Axe, and Revenge of Shinobi. Was it Mega Games 2? That was like, I think, a packaged in game I had with my Mega Drive, and that got a lot of use.
Sure, that wasn't a bootleg, Triangle Face.
No, that's Mega Games 2. It's those three games, really good collection actually. Those ones. I think the weird thing is with the beat up games, like I think Streets of Rage and Golden Axe were really peak sort of beat 'em ups, and there's been some good ones recently. Like they've been doing some sort of retro really style beat 'em up games that are really cool. Like I know there's like the Turtles one and the Power Rangers one. There's that Marvel one that you just tried out.
Yeah, I played quite a few. Yeah, a couple of them are really good.
They do look really cool. It's nice to see them make a bit of a comeback now, actually, because those are really fun games. But I don't think you really get much better than like Streets of Rage 2. I think
there's always the music as well. Though.
Yeah,
the music.
The music was the soundtrack in that game was incredible. Yeah, I can still remember that music when you beat the game. Like it almost made me want to cry when I was a kid. Oh, it's so beautiful.
So good.
Makes a big difference, I think, doesn't it? When you get like, especially the Mega Drive was really good for music, actually, considering what they had to work with. It had some really good soundtracks from games. I think the one that always gets talked about a lot is was it? I think it's Sonic 3. I think this has been confirmed. I wasn't sure if it was just a rumor. People said it was Michael Jackson did the music for Sonic 3, but then he didn't like the sound quality and then didn't want to be credited. And it only came out that he did the music for Sonic 3 after he died.
Yeah.
And it was like, we don't have to keep it a secret now. Yeah, Michael Jackson did the music for it. It's like, okay. There you go.
That's wild.
So what did you move on to from then? So once you sort of went on from your Mega Drive, did you kind of go down PlayStation route or Xbox, or did you sort of stick with PC?
So PC a lot, like a lot of the 90s like first person games was really big into that, and so running theme, but like playing gaming with my brother like a ton growing up, like with just when you're like, I don't know, 8 years old, and it seems like such a badass thing to do to like sit up until like 11 or 12 at night playing video games. Like, oh my god, we're up so late past our bedtime. But yeah, we played a lot of those 90s shooters, and Doom and Doom 2 are absolutely huge ones. And I was down at down as comparatively, depending on where you are, but down from Scotland at Blackpool Play Expo a couple of weeks ago. It's like a retro games expo, and John Romero was there. He goes there every year apparently, and it's like our second year doing that expo. But he was there, and I was just like completely starstruck. Like I just wanted to go over to him and just like shake his hand and be like, "You're my hero. Like your games were like so formative for me in my childhood." But I couldn't do it. I just stood like 20 feet away from like stared at him for like 10 seconds. And I was like, maybe next year I'll talk to him. But he seems like a super cool, super nice dude. And like I'm sure if I'd gone over to him, he would have been happy to like just have a chat and take a photo. But I was too scared.
So you see about like the all-nighters. I can remember at that time I couldn't really afford to buy a lot of games, so I used to like rent a lot of stuff from Blockbuster, and then you'd only have it for like a few nights. But then like on like the Saturday night, it's like I've got to give this game back on Monday, so I'm going to stay up all night and just play an all-nighter. I think that's the first time I played like Mario 64. Stayed around a friend's house overnight, and we'd rented Mario 64. I think we actually beat the game in one night. But we just didn't sleep. We just stayed up all night playing it. We didn't get all the stars, mind. We kind of just got just got through to the end. But we didn't stop until we were happy we'd done it.
Yeah, I think I did that with Final Fantasy VII, and that's obviously like a very big, very long game. And I think I got I must have played it for 20 hours straight over the weekend, and I got far enough in it, but then I had to take it back, and then it was like I could never really bring myself to go back and play it again after that. And I love Final Fantasy. I played a bunch of them, but I'm never able to go back and complete 7. And obviously, then I heard the spoilers that everybody knows, and I'm not going to mention here just in case people have been living under a rock for the last 20 years. But after hearing that, it's like I don't know if I really go through this now.
That's still one of my favorite games. I think 7. I still go back and replay that from time to time, just because I really like the story and the mechanics in it. And with the mechanics, is RPG something you've also sort of been quite into? Seeing as you've sort of worked in an RPG now, were you sort of a big fan of things like the Papon games and Final Fantasy?
Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily say that it was my all-time top favorite genre. I've definitely played more of other genres than RPGs. Although I like, I played my share of sort of CRPGs. The original Fallout games. I remember playing those back in the day. Those were amazing. And I've played a good handful of Final Fantasies. Played some Dragon Quest, I remember playing Baldur's Gate 1 when it came out, and I think I was just a little bit too young to fully comprehend the complexity of that game, and I was just hopeless at it and thought it sucked because in fact it was me that just sucked at playing it. But but I played Baldur's Gate 3 and absolutely loved that game. That was
I've not played 3, but I did have 1. I've actually got Baldur's Gate 1 on multiple platforms at this point because I got it on a tablet, so I could try and play on that. And I've got it on the Switch, I think, because it was on a deal. When I first got it, it was the big box PC game and had 8 discs, and it just took so long to install. But it's such a cool game. And I can remember finding out that if you went to do multiplayer and then stayed offline, you could actually fill every slot. So rather than just having one character at the start of the game, you have a full party of 8 people and you just go in with a range of characters. That was always quite fun to do. But yeah, it's not easy, is it? It's quite a hard game to get to grips with, especially if you're a bit younger when you first play it. And I was.
Yeah, I think when you're younger, you just kind of want to charge right in and fight or whatever. But you kind of have to think for games like that. And
it's quite punishing as well, isn't it? Because when characters die, they just die, and you have to find ways of resurrecting them. It isn't like you've got a whole plethora of resurrection items in your inventory. It's try not to die because you're going to lose characters completely. So what sort of then got you interested in game development and wanting to go down that path of developing games yourself?
So it's something that I always kind of wanted to do. Throughout most of my later 20s and early 30s, I kind of every now and then I would, get that mad impulse of I'm gonna finally do it. I'm gonna learn how to make games, and I'd spend a few months learning how to code and just start getting to the point where I was getting okay-ish, and then life gets in the way it always does, and then I'd have to take a few weeks off, and then once you take a few weeks off, take a month off, and then once you have a month off these things, it's I might as well just not go back to it now. So that was a lot of my 20s and early 30s. I was working in kitchens and working a job that I really didn't like at all. I don't think I ever liked it from the very beginning, and less so with each passing year. And then COVID hit and lockdown happened. And I guess that was a time that a lot of people were able to sort of take a step back and reevaluate their lives. And it was like, oh, you know, my first time in like 12, 13 years that like I'm not working a job that I hate. And like, I can't go back to that. And like, I was gaming so much over lockdown because obviously we're stuck inside the house, and I had a backlog of about 20 games on Steam that I'd my hall of shame that I'd never touched. So I was like, okay, I'll play through these and play a bunch of other games. And, you know, I was gaming for like morning till night, 7 days a week, and it was like I've never really had the chance to do that in my entire life. And it was like, okay, I'm doing this, and I'm also doing my part for society by staying indoors and not going out. Like, cool. And then yeah, it just hit me like, what, like, why do I have to, if the world ever gets back to normal, why do I have to go back to working this terrible job that I hate? So I applied to go to university to study some sort of like either game development or computer science or something that would teach me those necessary skills. And I applied to go up to Abertay University in Scotland, in Dundee. We were living in London at the time, and it was a very spur of the moment decision. Like, it was kind of like I mentioned it to my wife, and she was my girlfriend at the time. But and I was like, oh, this university in Scotland, like, they've kind of said I can go up there. Should we do it? And it was like 2 hours of like umming and ahhing and chatting about it. And they were like, let's do it. Let's like uproot our lives and move to the other end of the country to follow this harebrained dream of mine. And
wow, that's amazing.
So yeah. So we did it, and yeah, it was great. So yeah, we went up to Dundee. I studied like a games programming degree, and I always kind of had this idea that I want, you know, like, it was never really my ambition to graduate and go work in AAA for a big company or anything, like partially because I just don't think I'm a good enough programmer to do that, but also just I like this sort of creative control of doing your own thing or doing something in a small team where everybody's opinion is kind of valued and taken on board. So in the third year, I entered into a competition called Dare Academy that the university hosts every year, and a super cool competition where like the 6 chosen teams get to work full time on their game over the summer, and then at the end of that, we get to go down to EGX to show off our game to the public, and that was awesome. That was like I peaked right at the beginning, right? It's like all downhill from there. But yeah, so we went down to EGX and you know, like, showed the game off to like, I don't know how many people were there, like 90,000 or something, and then we won the competition. We were the smallest team in the competition, but I'm going to sound like I'm bragging here, and that's because I am, because it's like the coolest fucking thing I've ever done. But we won like a clean sweep of all the awards for the first time in the competition's history.
That's amazing.
Nice. So, congrats.
Yeah, it was super cool. And then I still had one more year of university, but I was like, you know, this is what I want to do, and I feel like one more year of university wasn't going to put me in a better position to do what I wanted to do. So I left my last year, and I've been kind of burning through my savings and working on the game since then.
I got some praise from Owlay there as well. So
yeah, good old Ali.
Yeah. And so what was the game then that you presented? What kind of game was it?
So it's called Book of Abominations.
Oh, so this was the game that you actually had for that competition?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
Let's get on to that.
Yeah. We can start talking now. Do you want to start off with the trailer? Should we take a look?
Yeah, let's do this. Just so if anyone is watching, you can see there's a QR code over there. Which way? That way.
Yes, there.
If you scan that, it will take you straight to Steam, where you can actually download the demo and play it for yourself. But yeah, let me add this to the stage and let's watch
Nice, very cool. Do you know what? We saw this at Knott's VGE, and it caught my eye straight away. It's like the art style of it is really cool. Had a quick little go on it there. I've since sort of downloaded the demo and played the demo, and Blunders has sort of had a go on it as well. Yeah, there's something about it. You've really sort of captured a nice art style and feel. I'm just going to read off the thing from the Steam page. There's a Book of Abominations is a monster taming RPG steeped in Eldritch horror. Eldritch terror, capture and battle Lovecraftian horror in snappy turn-based combat, explore a mysterious, moody, and vibrant world, and unravel the secrets within the book. So there you go. It's really cool concept.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, I feel like it's. Sorry, go on.
So I'll just say, I thought it's fantastic. Like you're saying, like you can see why it's won all these awards. It just reminds me, it's got Stardew Valley type of like level of detail, how it looks, and it's got like that Pokemon vibe of got to catch them all. Just playing the demo, I was making sure I collected all the different ones that you can play against and take it. But yeah, absolutely loved it. I thought it's from the little bit of the demo you can get, which like people who are watching this, make sure you got yourself some cool stickers. That's great. Keep Tiger Jim. But yeah, it is great. It's so good. I can't wait for it to come out. I just think it's going to be brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait for it to come out too. We're really excited, and we're working super hard, and we're making a lot of progress. And we hope at least like in the next few months to have a bigger, more substantial, comprehensive demo up on Steam. Because that's it's short, right? It's like 10 minutes of gameplay, and it's just like it's almost like a little teaser taste of what's to come. But we plan on updating that demo pretty heavily in the next few months.
So how did that sort of come about then? So you did your sort of summer challenge, did this competition. How did you what was the size of the team then? Is it the same team that's working on it now? Or has anything changed to go from where it was to where it is now?
Yeah, so there were two of us that did the competition, myself and my friend Jan. So I'm like, we're both programmers. We're both programming students, former programming students. And I take care of like all the art and the animation and the visuals. And he took care of like the audio and also the sort of organizational production side of things. So it was two of us for the competition, which went for about 3 or 4 months. And then after the competition, I decided to leave university early and focus full-time in the game. And he went back to finish his studies. He still had 2 more years to go. So I've been, for the most part, working on my own on it for the last, not quite 2 years, but near enough. And then recently, a few weeks ago, I got a new teammate. His name's Tanapat, and he's like a incredible programmer. So he's kind of come and taken all that technical side of things off my hands so that I can focus fully on doing like the art and animation. So at the moment there are 3 of us on the team.
Oh, nice. That's you sort of mentioned about not wanting to necessarily go into like some sort of big AAA studio and doing your own thing in indie, and it's just something we've found when we've spoken to different developers. Anyone that's worked sort of in AAA studios, it sounds great on paper, and it's something that a lot of us as gamers have always sort of been interested in doing. But then a lot of people we speak to say like, oh yeah, so I worked in this game and it was great, and then they made us work these horrendous hours. Everyone was like really abused at it. Like several people had like nervous breakdowns. It's like, oh, that sounds awful. And a lot of people that have gone, oh, I worked at AAA studio, but now I do indie. It just seems like a good move for people to do that, because it sounds like the games industry kind of chews people up and spits them out sometimes.
Yeah,
so sounds like it could be a bit brutal.
Yeah, from what I've heard, that's definitely the case. And I worked in kitchens for more than a decade before getting into games, and I feel like kitchens are like, it's similar, right? You're working like 12, 13, 14, sometimes 14-hour shifts, like 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week, like getting exploited, overworked, underpaid. And I feel like I've I've done that, right? Like I'm too old to like go into a new job that's like doing basically exactly treating you exactly the same way. Like, oh, but you're doing it because you love it, right? Like yeah, but it's also kind of shitty when like you're getting exploited and underpaid, and there's people above you making like a big ton of money off the back of your unpaid work. And I mean, there's definitely an element of overwork in India, especially if you're kind of trying to do your own thing. I think I've found a very good place now of like working regular hours, but you know, over the last couple of years, I've definitely gone to some pretty dark places, and I took about 3 months off, 4 months off at the beginning of this year because I've basically done like a year of just working like 89-hour weeks, and like the stress of trying to run a company and trying to make a game on your own. And yeah, I just got to the point where like I just couldn't even open the engine or open Sprite or do anything like that anymore. And like you know, in my mind, like that was it. That I was done. I was done making games. I was never going to do it again. And then slowly, after taking a considerable amount of time off, I got the itch to just dabble a little bit again. And then, you know, now I feel like I'm working less, and I have a healthy life balance, and I have free time, and I do things with my free time, but I'm being more productive, you know, like I'm getting more done in an 8-9 hour day than I would in like a 12-13 hour day, because I'm refreshed and motivated and full of energy. But yeah, I think it's like, I guess if you're gonna get overworked, it's good that you're overworking for yourself rather than overworking for someone else. But like, it's either way, it's not healthy.
I think there's definitely like a difference you see in indie games, or even with like this year, when Samful Interactive came out of like Expedition 33, they got a really small studio, and you can tell when like games have been made by gamers and not just like, you know, programmers working for, you know, a corporate you know, manager who's never picked up a controller. And it's like, yeah, but when you've got a small team and everyone's into it and everyone's a gamer and you want to get a good product out, it's you can tell there's a lot of you know, a lot of your own passions for gaming kind of come into it.
Yeah, like Silksong, they're like, you know, I was reading the developers from Silksong, they were like, oh, it took so long to make it because we were just having so fun working on it. Yeah, that's awesome. That really shows when you play it.
Yeah. So what sort of mechanics and stuff can we expect in the game? Like, what have you put into it so far that you can tell us about? I'm sure there might be some stuff that you don't want to reveal, but what can you tell us of what's?
Yeah, there's some stuff that I probably just can't talk about just because I won't make it sound anywhere near as fun and interesting as it actually is. But so it's turn-based combat, like group turn-based combat. So, you know, if you can have a full active monster party of 3, and depending on, you know, you might just be against one big boss, so I think it'll be up to like 3 or 4 enemy monsters. You can fight, you can capture. We've got like a bit of a different spin on the capturing mechanic compared to some other monster taming games. I won't go into too much detail explaining it because I'll just ramble, and it probably won't sound as cool as it is, but play the demo and find out for yourself. We're at the moment we're trying to, well, we're kind of in a clear up phase at the moment because I just got this new programmer on board who's kind of spent the last couple of weeks going through all my horrendous, messy, disorganized spaghetti code and basically making it readable and making it elegant and making it work better and making it more expandable so that when we go to add a new feature in like a few weeks' time, you know, we can do it in like a day rather than like a week of trying to sort through the mess of my horrendous code. He'd probably say that I'm being harsh on myself, but I think it's true. So we're kind of just trying to get that all cleaned up so that we can expand and add a bit more of everything, you know, like more monsters. I'm in the process of, in fact, I just finished animating and implementing a new monster today, which I really like. And, you know, we want to add more status effects. We want to add some overworld abilities, so like almost like a kind of Metroidvania style traversal things, so that you can you'll meet these like friendly monsters in the world who will give you like sort of corrupting body powers that can help you, so you can like launch a tentacle out your arm to like pull yourself over a chasm or something like that sort of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's some other stuff that's in the pipeline. We've got big plans, and we're just we're getting there.
And what was your sort of process like for coming up with the different monsters? I imagine that's quite a fun part of it.
Yeah,
coming up with all the different creatures you can have.
Yeah, that's absolutely like the most fun part of everything for me is designing new monsters. I'm not really sure. So I mean, a lot of them are. There's a lot of sort of horror tropes in there. So we got like some different types of zombies, and we got like a fish monster. I'm trying to put some things from like some like folklore and like cryptid monsters in there. So there's like I made like a Bigfoot recently, and there's like I want to put some cool things from like British and English, Scottish mythology in there. But then a lot of things, I might just hear a lyric in a song that sounds cool that inspires me, or just like see a picture, or just like I don't really know where it comes from. But yeah, probably a lot of it is, I might ask someone, a few times I've asked my wife, like, hey, what monster should I design today? And she'll like give me something to jump off on. But yeah, like really all the inspiration from that comes from all sorts of places. But that's absolutely like if I could do one part of the game just all the time, it would be designing monsters.
Oh, he's on mute, Tim. But yeah, like I was saying, I like the bit when you've done like you're saying, like the zombie, and he comes up and he smacks you with his own head.
Yeah, I love that one. I'm so proud of that one. Yeah,
that's brilliant. Yeah, that kind of thing's brilliant.
I was gonna say, do you have a particular favourite at the moment? So you've got a favourite monster that you've made?
I've got one tattooed there.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
That's it's not on this laptop. On my other laptop, I've got that sticker you gave me.
Okay, yeah.
SVG, that's on my laptop at the moment. So.
All right, yeah. Tentacore. Probably isn't even actually my favorite. It's funnily enough, me and my teammate Jan. Like when we first started making the game for the competition, we only had 3 monsters in there, and this guy was one, and there was like the slime that you can choose for a starter monster. That was one, and we were kind of like at war over which one was better, and he liked the slime, I liked this one, and we both got them tattooed. And yeah, like so it's like a constant battle between those two of like, especially now that they're both starters, we're always saying like, oh, who, like when we bring the game to Expo, it's like, oh, which one's going to get picked more, the green one or the red one? And then everyone comes along and picks the blue one anyway. Like no one picks either of them at the end.
I think I picked the red one when I played it at Knots.
Okay, you've got impeccable taste then.
I think I picked blue, but one.
Yeah, classic man. You're not the only one. Well, we've got a third teammate now, so maybe I don't think he has any tattoos, but maybe we'll just have to get him to get the blue one tattooed.
He's got to get the blue one tattooed, to be part of the gang.
Hopefully that is his favourite one as well. Otherwise that'd be a bit awkward.
But I think my favourite one is probably the boar monster, the one that you capture in the first fight, and purely because of the name, Barbarian. Like I absolutely peaked with that. I don't think I'll ever come up with a better monster. In fact, that's a lie. I did come up with a better monster name, but I'm not going to say it because it might not be as funny as I think it is, and I might make a fool out of myself. So, okay, I'll say it. It's like a crab monster, and it's called Crabomination.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. See, it's not as funny as it is.
Ollie's not here.
That'd be Ollie's favourite, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Ollie's a bit afraid of crabs, so he's got a bit of crab. I'm not sure if it's crab phobia as such, but he just really dislikes crabs. So.
There was that game, isn't there? There's a game that came out where you are actually a crab and he couldn't play it.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, yeah, another crab's treasure. All right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, another crab's treasure. Yeah, so he's got a problem with crabs.
Has he been like pinched by a crab before or something?
Don't have a clue. But yeah, it's quite
I
funny.
think they just freak him out because they just slap the big claws and they look.
I always wind him up.
Yeah, and you never know what they're thinking as well.
Dude, I've always thought crabs are weird because they just walk sideways. They look like they could attack with the big claws, and they just like scuttle off to the side.
Yeah, like how do you take them seriously when they're doing that?
Yeah. It's also weird that they kind of tend to come in big groups where you get like the beaches with like swarms of crabs. I'm like, nope, not dealing with that.
Like
handle one.
Backtracking.
Yeah, I can handle one, but if there's a whole beach full of them, I'm like, no thanks. So how did you go about doing these expos then? So how did you get onto like Knots VGE and the Blackpool?
Most of it's just word of mouth. You see people posting about it, or you read it up somewhere. I think Knots VGE, I get like the subscription for. I got like the newsletter subscription for Debug, and I think they mentioned it, and I was like, oh, cool, yeah, I'll get on that. But a lot of them are just you see your peers posting about it, and you're like, oh shit, it's too late. I should have done that. But then you pop it in the calendar and you apply for next year. Yes, you did. Ali mentioned Blackpool. Yeah. Ali mentioned Blackpool. There's like a local one that we do a few times a year up in Dundee. And I'm not sure how I found out about that one. But yeah, I think a lot of it is just like word of mouth, or just every now and then you just pop into Google and like look up UK indie game expos and see if there's any in like the foreseeable future and send off to them. And if you're lucky, they like your game and they get you down.
Yeah, Debug's saying Debug's fantastic, isn't it? You went to the awards.
Great magazine as well.
Yeah, I'll collect that.
Yeah, it's a really good way of sort of finding different games that you might not necessarily know about. And been to some of the debug shows and getting a chance to play on some of the games that's still in development and seeing what people are working on. I think it's a really cool event. And also with like Knots VG and Bristol VG, they tend to have a debug area, obviously, which you were involved in with everything else going on. Because when you go to like an event, obviously we get involved with the talks on the stage. We then have like the market to go and like spend all your money on loads of merch, and then it's nice to actually then go and play some games and to be able to play some like new indie titles. I think is a really fun thing to get to go and do at those events. So yeah, it gets a lot of people sort of on that. So when you did the Knots VG, actually, what did you get in terms of like feedback from people that played the game? What was the general response to it?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't like to toot my own horn too much, but they're always like pretty favorable, and like I guess like you never know if it's just people being nice or not, but like usually you can tell if it's like a obligatory like that was cool, or if it's like people are like genuinely enthusiastic and like and like the response usually falls into the latter camp. Like you always have some people who go there and they pick it up and they play for a few minutes and it's like, okay, it's not for them, and they move on, and like you die a little bit inside, but then the next person comes along and plays and loves it. And I've had people come and like play it through multiple times. When we went to EGX, someone came, like they were there on the Thursday and Friday, and then they came on the Saturday, and I was like, weren't you here on the Thursday and Friday playing this? They're like, yeah, I'll be back again tomorrow to play it. And I thought they were just like joking. I was like, cool. And then they came back on the 4 days in a row, came and played it. And like that was an even like way older demo that was nowhere near as good as what we've got now. But I think every time we do one of those events, that's it reaffirms that like what you're doing is good. Like it's easy to when you're sat in the same desk in the same room working on the same game day after day after day, it's easy to like doubt yourself, like, oh, like does this suck, like what am I doing with this? And then you go down to one of those events and like so many people come by and like just waxing lyrical about the game and saying how much they love it, and it's like that kind of like tops up your motivation for like another couple of months of like
especially if you're getting sort of praise from just like a random person you don't know, because it's always hard if you're asking like friends and family to play a game and they're like, oh yeah, it's amazing. You're like, why are you just saying that because you're my friend? Like you need to get some unfiltered feedback, so it's good when you get it out of there. I'm working on a game at the moment, and I'm hoping I can get it to a point where people can have a go on it, and I can sort of get some people to play on it. But,
is that the sci-fi game that you were telling me
yes,
about?
Yeah. So I've got like it's playable on a Game Boy at the moment, but it's not like a finished demo. So I want to kind of make like a demo version of it, which kind of gets up to a certain point. So I would say it's probably in like 3 acts. So like if I get to the end of Act 1, I can be like, right, that's the demo. And I want to kind of get people testing it because it's puzzle based. And the puzzles seem easy to me because I know the answer. I'm like, if I put it in front of someone, I've got to find that balance. So I don't want them to like rush through. It's like, oh yeah, that was easy. But I also don't want to be like, I've got no idea what I'm doing, and like just give up. So you've got to try and
got to find that sweet spot. And I mean, there's really nothing like, watching people playing your game to kind of, like there's getting like verbal feedback is one thing, but like actually just watching someone play it and like, maybe they're trying to do something that they can't do that you realize they should be able to do, or maybe there's like something that they should be doing that they just bypass every time, and it's like, oh, it's not intuitive enough, or it's not obvious enough because you play a game, you just play it the way that it's meant to be played in your mind, but like watching people play a game is there's always some little tweak or change that we make after an expo from seeing how people reacted to certain features.
So I've already changed a few bits. I made the doorways bigger because people like try to go for the door, which they're supposed to be able to do, not go through, and then think that's wrong and start wandering around. It's like, no, you are supposed to go for that door. I was like, I'm going to make the door frame slightly wider. And I've changed the first puzzle because Blooders had a go and he couldn't get out of the bedroom at the start. It's like, no, I don't. That's too much maths. To be fair, I think you're a bit drunk as well.
I was quite drunk.
As a few beers, I can't do a puzzle when I've had a few beers. So I might make this first puzzle of the game slightly easier.
Or just get sober play testers.
Yes,
it was that was the night before Knots, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. So, or the night of.
Or the night of, I think it was the night of,
And one other thing I was going to say about the game, actually, one thing I quite liked about it is one of the pitfalls in RPGs, and Final Fantasy VII has this problem, even though it is one of my favorites, is you get to certain points where like all you need to do is attack. So you have all these cool options of what you can do. But even like right from the beginning, and some Final Fantasy games is just like, right, you can do all this stuff, or you can just hit it. And you just go, I'm just going to hit it. And then you spend the game just hitting stuff, and you're not using your spells or your magic and all that sort of thing. Whereas with this, like the way that you do the capturing as well, you've got to do more than one prep thing on the runes to get it ready to capture. So you're not just going hit dead. You're going, nope, this guy's got an ability now. I'm going to use that ability. Now I'm going to attack with this. And each creature's got their own different attacks. And it feels like you're doing a lot. Do you know what I mean? And I think it feels like you've actually got stuff to do in the battle, even from like the very beginning. Whereas I think a lot of RPGs just like start the game. Oh, I'm not going to bother learning the special abilities. We're just going to hit things, and that works. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no, that's really good to know. And I mean, I think that kind of stuff is like going to get harder the more the game goes on. But it's like especially balancing the later game. But like that's absolutely something that's like in the forefront of our mind. I mean, of course, like people will play a game how they want to play a game right at the end. But like I think, like if I'm going to spend like so much of my time animating all these attacks and like we're going to plan all these attacks and spend this time implementing all these status effects and different systems, like it should be fun to use and it should be cool to use, and like people should want to use it and it should be useful throughout the whole game. So yeah, that's really cool that it feels that way in the demo. That means we're off to a good start.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to tell us about the game before we move on to anything else? I just want to bring up. What are you getting?
Sorry, I was just trying to bring up. I'm just trying to bring up me playing it because I've got it here.
Okay, yeah. See how you got on.
Yeah, staying. My PC was kind of crashing out while I was trying to load everything up, but it was the fact that like you have all these different types of attack, and like they've all got their different stats.
All the stats, yeah, and we're going to put some like monster types in as well, so that like you got the different types that do more damage or less damage or more defense against other types. He's gone.
Oh, he's in there. He's in there. Let me add him back in. There he goes. It looks like he's frozen. He's still there, Blunners? No, he's been poisoned.
Yeah, PC's having
there you go. You're back.
Took it off.
Back.
Yeah, my PC's having none of it. It's just like crashing out on me. So,
right, we've got a few questions from the chat. So get some more questions in. If you're watching and you want to put some questions in, please do so now. But before we go to the questions, we're going to do our little segment of the Desert Island Games Room. So let's do the intro. So we are at the Desert Island Games Room. So this segment is if you are on a desert island, we're going to assume you have whatever console you want and electricity and power, but for any other reason, you're trapped. What is the game you're taking with you, and why? Why would you take that game to the desert island?
I want to say Elden Ring, just because it's so big and so fun, and there's so many ways to play it, and I'm an absolutely huge From Software fanboy. But I'll probably like it's not even like my favorite game or anything, but like maybe Baldur's Gate 3, just because there's so many ways that you can play through that game, and each playthrough is like a 100 to 150 hour experience, and you can play it through like there's probably hundreds of different playthrough styles that you could have, and I could try to do like the honor run mode where like if you with like the permadeath, and I just would never be able to do that, so it was just like fill up my whole time while I'm there.
It keeps you busy while you're waiting for someone to find you with a raft. Put something on there.
They'll come to save me, and I'll be like, just wait there for a few more days.
Yeah, need a bit longer to do another run. But I've not actually played Elden Ring or Baldur's Gate 3. I'm ashamed to say. So, but Baldur's Gate 3 got a lot of love when it came out. Have you played it, Blooders? Have you been in Baldur's Gate 3?
Well, yeah, I've only played because it didn't come out on Xbox Game Pass, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it did. If it did, I missed it. I slept on that. So,
yeah, not 100%. I've obviously played Elden Ring, but not
not Baldur's Gate.
Elden Ring is just an absolute masterpiece. It's definitely one of my favorite games of all time.
I know that Ollie's quite into their From Software games. I've struggled. I played like Lies of P, and it was really cool, and I really liked it, but I just found it a bit too punishing. Like how much you lose when you die. Like the penalty of death is quite harsh, isn't it, in the From Software games? Yeah. And, I did play for. I think there's one point I was playing Lies of P. I was making little bits of progress, and I got to a hard bit where, if you die, you drop your gear, and then you die again before you pick it up. It's just gone. And I think at that point, I was really stuck in an area, but I managed to get my stuff back each time. And then I lost it, and I was like, I've now been playing for about 2.5 hours, and I've basically done nothing other than practice. So I think I'm done. So
I'm out.
I'm out. Too much.
Yeah, that's like, I think that's in From Software games like that. Yeah, that happens all the time. And like at one point, you'll just be like, what? I don't care if I lose it all, and then like it kind of makes it a bit easier, because otherwise, like, it's so easy to just like yeet your fucking computer out the window when that happens, and like
But it is kind of what it's named for, isn't it? It's named for being like really hard games.
Yeah, like they are hard, but they're like, if you can like get through the surface, like there's like I feel like they're good in spite of them being hard, not because they're so hard, but if you can kind of crack through and figure it out and get the hang of things, and like that's such a just stunningly incredible game underneath it all.
Cool, right.
That's my From Software sales pitch.
Yeah,
If anyone.
Yeah.
We'll add that to the list. I have got a little list growing, so I think at some point I'll put in our Facebook group like what games are in the desert island that everyone's brought with them. Cool. Before we wrap things up, we'll go to the starred questions we got from the chat. So let's go through here. We have got where do you get your inspiration from for the cool creatures in your game?
Yeah, just life, movies, books. Not sure. Just other games, music, history. Like and anywhere and everywhere.
So you've got like the Eldritch horror kind of theming in it as well. So there's a lot of it sort of based on some different like Lovecraftian creatures that you've then added
I feel like Eldritch horror is just like find something and give it tentacles and multiply it.
And a name.
I promise I don't have a tentacle thing. No, not judging if you do, but I guess like just things from other horror stories, and I think like having a monster tamer with horror monsters, it feels like a pretty obvious combination to me, and surprised it hasn't been done yet. So I gotta like double time to get this game out before someone else does.
And then we've got will captured creatures be swappable in your party?
Yep. That's one of the things that were in like one of the top priority things once Tanapat, that's the new programmer, once he's refactored and cleared and neatened up all my code, is we're gonna, like at the moment there's only 3 monsters that you can capture in the demo, and that's kind of in part because we just don't have the functionality there to deal with having more, but like this it's almost implemented where you can have tons and then there'll be 3, and like you can either forego a turn in combat to like swap one in or out, or you can access like a bestiary, which is like our Pokedex outside of combat, where you can swap things in and out of your active monster body. So absolutely there will be.
Just a thought, actually, doubling back to the last question about inspiration for creatures. Do you ever do any Magic the Gathering at all or anything like that?
I don't. I kind of never really let myself get into that because I knew it would take every single last penny that I have. And like every free second of my spare time. So like, I have far too obsessive a personality to even dabble in something like that.
I've got a Slither deck and a Eldrazi, which kind of like monstrous creatures with like tentacles and things like that.
Cool.
So it just made me think about that. But yes, it's one of those things where it's sometimes wise to never start collecting cards.
There's
a bit of money pit.
Yeah, I know myself well enough to know that there's some things that I just can't touch.
Yeah, I've cut myself off now, so I don't buy cards anymore. But I'm not really at a phase of life where I play it a lot. But when I was a bit younger, I had a group of friends that all played it regularly. So we were all buying more cards. And then when we had a meet up, we'd all have new decks. So I was buying them and then using them. Whereas if I bought a bunch of Magic cards now, they'd probably sit in the cupboard with the other ones. So cut myself off now. Not buying more.
Wise move.
Yes. So Tiger Gem says, are you keeping a log or sketchbook of all your creature concepts? When the game takes off, it would be a cool thing to have alongside it. And that could be a collector's item or, a bonus.
Yeah. So like I can't actually draw to save my life. I can make pixel art that's pretty decent if I do say so myself. But so like I have like a like as I'm designing a monster on my pixel art program on Sprite, like I'm constantly like saving new files as I make a few changes. So I have like these horrendously bad old versions of a monster that I do as I'm designing it before I get to the final product. But no, I just like in terms of like keeping a record of the monsters that I make, I post a lot of it on Twitter. I would post on other social medias, but I just don't really have the patience for much of that. Like I can just about deal with one social media platform, and Twitter's where I have like my biggest following and the most interaction. So I just kind of mostly stick there. But yeah, so I've got like sort of and every now and then I'll post a picture of like, hey, here's all the monsters I've got, and I think I've got like 30 monsters designed so far for the game. But yeah, that's mostly where they're stored. Yeah, it would be cool, or even to get someone who's like a real artist to like actually like draw like drawings and their interpretation of it. That's not like tiny low res pixel art. But yeah, I'd love to have or a sketchbook, like make it look like properly book bound, like the Book of Abominations in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. And
I know there's one. I said there's one. As Dave's not here tonight, but he always asks about music.
Yes.
About where would you get like your music from?
What in the game?
Yeah, in the game.
So that's my teammate Jan. He was a music producer before he got into programming, and the dude is just like
nice.
He's like an audio genius. Like he'll talk to me for like half an hour about like music theories and like music theory and like waves and how things interact and like moving from this key to that, and it's like, this is super interesting, but I don't understand a single thing that he just said to me. But yeah, he does all the music and audio, and I think when we were originally setting out, like obviously the game's kind of like Pokemon-y JRPG style, but like he didn't want to kind of go down that route for music, so I think he was listening to like some rock and like the Doom soundtrack and some metal, and was kind of inspired to we're going down like a dark sort of horror thing, then we thought that like sort of rocky metal goes well with that. So yeah, I know he was inspired.
And there's one other thing I was going to ask you before we wrap up was obviously it's available on Steam, so we can wishlist it. Are you looking to have any sort of physical release as well of the game, or is it just sort of looking at Steam at the moment?
So that's something that I think we would love to do, but it would probably be more a case of get it out on Steam first and see how it does and see how it sells, and if there's money to look into doing a physical release, then absolutely, like there's a market for that. People like it. I grew up with, as I'm sure you guys did as well, with like having physical games. I'd love to have a physical copy of it myself, even if it's just to like put it up on the wall. So yeah, it's definitely.
Should get Alistair to get it on Evercade, mate. Get a little car.
Yeah, I was going to say, it would look cool. Would look cool on Evercade.
Yeah, that would be.
I don't know what the technical limitations.
The manual could be like the book. The manual could actually read a book, couldn't it?
Yeah. I could see that being a solo cart for Book of Abominations on Evercade.
That would be. Definitely be. Yeah, fingers crossed.
We'll grease some wheels with any contacts we know.
We'll get old Sean, yeah.
Derek was kind of keen to get
Roadcraft.
Roadcraft, that was it. Roadcraft.
Yeah, managed to get it.
Yeah. We'll see. So thank you very much for coming on, and all the best with the game. I think me and Blunders have both wishlisted it, so we'll wait eagerly to see when it's going to get released. And
awesome.
And we'll push it as well.
That's awesome, man. I really appreciate all of the kind words and you guys' interests, and you guys getting me on here tonight. It's been cool. I love talking about myself, and I love talking about the game and games in general. So yeah, it's been great, and really appreciate it. Thank you.
And if anyone wants to keep up with the development and follow you, where's the best place to sort of keep up with the news?
Probably Twitter. I know that like people don't use Twitter that much because it's like owned by one of the most terrible people in the world. I'm not going to get political. I just had to say that one of them is worse than him, but pretty terrible. And it's a fucking absolute right-wing shit show over there at the moment. But I live in my little pixel art bubble on Twitter, and I only interact with other pixel artists and game developers, and it's still super cool and super wholesome and super supportive. So I'm most likely to post there on Twitter.
What's your handle?
It's that's a good question. I think it's Delagore Pixels. So it's like DELAGOREPIXELS. I think. Let me double check for you actually. And
I'm on
I
there
post.
now. I found you.
Yeah, is that the one? Cool. And I post every now and then on Instagram. I should be more active on Instagram, and every time I'll go through a little burst of like posting regularly for a week or two, and it's like, yeah, this is great. I should do this more often, and then it just nosedives, and I forget. And I put it off for months. But yeah, I'd say Twitter. Twitter is probably the best place to.
Look at that.
No,
Yeah.
Nice.
There's even some more that I think I've posted somewhere on there, but that's some of them. And that little mushroom dude down the bottom, I just finished animating him yesterday, so he'll be in the game soon. And I think I'm going to do that floating eyeball next.
Nice.
That looks sick. Yeah.
Which one of those would you want to see in the game if you could pick one?
We're going to go back. Let's see. I quite like the guy in the middle with like the teeth.
This one.
Yeah, I really like that one too. Yeah.
I like
cool.
it.
Yeah.
That's a real Eldritch horror type thing as well. Yeah.
I like the plant as well on the bottom row, like the sunflower.
That
cool.
one.
Yeah, I like that one.
I like that one.
That one was that was my wife's idea. The sunflower one. Like I was like, what should I do? And she's like, why don't you do a Triffid? And it should be like, because she's an artist and she's like an absolutely phenomenal artist. And she's like, oh, you don't have a lot of like yellow monsters, so you should do like a sunflower Triffid. Cool.
Nice.
They're fantastic.
Awesome. Right. Well, thanks very much for coming on. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do give this video a like. That helps us out a lot. And if you are new here and you want to subscribe, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. And you can find us on all the other socials as well. So come and join our Facebook group if you want to keep the conversation going. And we'll be back on Monday with the Total Evercade podcast.
Blue Star.
Yeah, we will.
Sticking with the Halloween. Yeah. So Halloween special.
Cool.
Right. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
We will see you all soon.